Now we will do a gutter splint for a finger. And I'm using a 50mm Turbostrip for this application. I basically size it so just in front of the MCP, and I should have about 1 centimeter on the front side. That would be enough of material. So position the patient and make sure to have the right angle. So it depends on how much extension or flexion you want in the MCP and PIP and DIP. Then I put the material into my splint pan. I heat it just for a few seconds. Then I remove it. I place it on my towel like this just to absorb a little bit of moisture. And then I apply that basically around the finger. I go in quite tight on the finger. And as soon as I get up over the DIP, I tend to pull it together as a material. That welding will just give the compression. I will not keep it like that with my final splint. Then I make sure that I have the right angulation of the finger. And I just let it basically sit to cool. So now the gutter splint is ready, it's set. And what we will do now is we will open up the splint. There is no need to have a circular kind of application. It just helps me to keep the shape. So the first adjustment I will do is basically on the base of the finger, so I don't get the discomfort between the other kind of fingers. So I basically remove the splint. I take my scissor and I adjust the edge. In this case, if you're considering to roll the material or the edges, then make sure that you save a little bit of material. Then I will make sure that when I open the gutter in this case, that I have the same amount of opening on each side. So just cutting it down all the way. And then I'm actually opening up all the way down to the fingertip. The other material I have here, I actually keep a few millimeters sticking out. And the reason why I do that is I will reinforce this one by rolling the material. So if we try the gutter now, we can see that it goes still a little bit too high. I will still have to open it up a little bit more. And I would also open up exactly over the end of the fingertip and the nail. This I can do by rolling the material, but I will choose to add actually a padding later on to this. So I will cut a little bit additionally on to open up the gutter a little bit more. I think this is perfect because that means that I have about 2/3 stability on the side. It gives me a quite good compression. And then by using the strap, I will basically make sure that I have extension in the PIP and in the DIP. If we look into the inside, we can see that that part there is still having a little bit of discomfort, but that one I will roll, and also the fingertip. So if I immerse that into the water, just that small little tip, holding it for a few seconds, take away a little bit of water, and then I fold the material. And now fold that piece to the side, and I press both from inside and outside. And then I position that onto the finger again on the patient, just to make sure that it fits comfortably. Sometimes I can have the gutter completely open, or I can have a closed fingertip. But if you have a closed fingertip, make sure that you have just a few millimeters to prevent the edge from the thermoplastic to press on the nail. So it's really up to you to decide on the patient. So I will cut this one down just a little bit, and then we will roll the bottom end. As you can see now, it's quite sharp edges on there. So I move all of that into my splint pan. Now I'm folding the material outwards like this, so it becomes really nice and soft, but it also provides a little bit of a reinforcement. The advantage with the Turbostrips is that it's extremely quick to work with. So once I apply that now, you can see that that rounding there will not cause any kind of discomfort for the patient. So the last thing I will do is just to round off that edge that I did just a little bit, and then I'm actually ready to do my application with the hook and loop. On my gutter splint, it's very important to have the stability basically over the PIP and the DIP in order to get additional extension. So what I've done here is I've done two small markings that I will position the hook on, and I'm utilizing here the transparent micro hook because it provides a very secure and very simple kind of application. So you can see it's transparent, so when I apply it onto the construction like this, I can actually stretch it onto the surface in that case, and then it attaches and it almost becomes invisible. It's quite hard to see that unless my marking would be there. So I do the same thing on the DIP joint area there as well, attaching, pressing it in. Since the gutter splint is not going to be a long-term immobilization, I could actually stay with that self-adhesive. What I will do next now is I will use that double loop semi-elastic material that provides a little bit of compression. And I will then round it off so it can actually meet my hook part quite easily. So I just apply it like that. Make sure that the strap is a little bit wider than the hook attachment. We'll do the same thing on the DIP joint strap. Attach that also on the side of the gutter. And basically when I do my application now, patient can pull the strap, attach on the side like this, and it becomes very stable and has a good compression. The strap sticking out here, I can actually sometimes utilize if I want to have a little bit more compression. And the way I will do it that way is I will round that strap additionally. Do the same thing on the other strap, and then I'm going to apply a micro hook, and this is a micro hook that has basically a soft top. So I just apply that there, apply it here, and it makes it fairly easy for the patient to do the application. So we do the application like this. I pull the strap, attach that onto the surface, then I can go additionally and then put that on top like this. Provides a fairly simple kind of application, yet very stable and pretty low profile. So. Now the gutter splint is ready. We applied the hook parts, we applied the straps, we have done the adjustment of the edges as well, so now we are ready for the fitting. We will position the finger into the gutter. We use the wider strap as the first attachment going over the PIP joint, just attaching it on the hook and then using the strap on the side. And then we do the same thing over the DIP.